So there you have another one of Jesus' paradoxical teachings. You know, the greatest and the smallest, the greatest are the smallest and most humble people. You know, if you want to be part of a real kingdom, Jesus says, be like a child. Learn from the child. That's always been a hard one for me to wrap my mind around. Just before this passage, Jesus is talking about how the mighty kingdom, the mighty kings of the earth, they extort tribute from kingdoms and from people who are less powerful than they are. So now he's saying that true greatness, the true power that comes from God, is more like the humility of a child. I don't know. What's counterintuitive about that is that if you're going up against the evil empire, you want someone like Luke Skywalker to go toe-to-toe with you, right? The lightsaber and the Force and all of that. You want someone powerful, not someone like a Care Bear or an Ewok from Star Wars, right? That's what I didn't like about Return of the Jedi. I did not like the idea of the Ewoks coming in and cleaning house. You had these evil stormtroopers who were about to crush the Rebel Alliance, and who are the heroes that win the day? These little 3-foot-tall, teddy bear-looking Ewoks. They're the ones who destroy the evil empire on that moon. So, I don't know. It just kind of violated my sense of what's realistic, what I wanted out of an adventure movie, I guess. Because really in a dog-eat-dog world where there's fierce competition and selfishness and immorality, what kind of pull do children and Care Bears have in the real world? Inquiring minds want to know. So I went to the hard-hitting, no-nonsense, pragmatic Harvard Business Review to look for answers. And I found it. An article titled, "Adults Behave Better When Teddy Bears Are in the Room." Keep watching. So these researchers, they put adults in all kinds of situations and activities, and what they saw, they had a control group and they had the group that they were watching very carefully, and they saw that adults were less likely to cheat and more likely to engage in positive behaviors when reminders of children such as teddy bears or crayons were in the room. Across the board, the participants in this study lied less and were more generous than the control group was. And in these groups, the number of cheaters dropped by almost 20%. Wow. So the hypothesis of the researchers is that these child-related cues activated a sense of goodness and purity in people that they did not want to pollute. And it was not only the presence of a child, but even the idea of a child that triggered these kind of results. So Jesus might be onto something here that even the Harvard Business Review could acknowledge. That kids and Care Bears have some kind of power, a hidden greatness that maybe we need to learn a little bit about. Now, the ancient world that Jesus was dealing with was quite a cruel place. Children, especially girls, had no value until they became useful adults. Jesus himself was raised in a Jewish culture that put kids at the bottom of the social ladder. At the top of the ladder, you might guess this, maybe this isn't too different from today, I don't know. First, wealthy men. Then the women, right? No. Then men in general. Then the women. No. Male slaves. Then came the women. Then at the very bottom were children. They had no rights. They couldn't advocate for themselves in any way, so they were very vulnerable to abuse. So consider how radical Jesus is being by putting this living, breathing child in the midst of these adult disciples and saying that if you don't become like this child, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. And whoever welcomes one such child child in my name, it's as though you were welcoming me. It gives you a whole new perspective on the value of child care, doesn't it? Jesus sees children as of supreme importance in his kingdom. It turns our scale of values upside down. There are other verses where Jesus said, "Let these children come to me," and even threatens people with dire consequences if they put any stumbling blocks in their way. This is so important to Jesus because child abuse scars people for life. Abuse affects your self-worth, your ability to have relationships, your capacity to hope and have faith. Abused children grow up to feel very fearful and insecure all the time. They have trouble venturing out to the world with any kind of confidence. They feel a lasting sense of shame because so often they feel that they're to blame for the abuse, and so they feel dirty and unlovable. A sense of hopelessness and despair can turn into deep depression, and the whole world becomes darkened. They don't feel strong enough to express themselves or to make an effort to change things and turn their life around. Sometimes this makes them become very passive. Sometimes they become too controlling. In all of these ways, child abuse seriously wounds our capacity to love one another and to love God. Abuse is very widespread, as you know, in this society. Experts estimate that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys are sexually abused before their 18th birthday. 30 to 40% of these children are abused by family members. As many as 60% of them are abused by a person that the family trusts. Nearly 40% are abused by older or bigger children. In Psalm 82, God says, "Give justice to the weak and the orphan. Maintain the right of the lowly and the destitute. Rescue the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hand of the oppressor." So that is our calling, and it is the responsibility of all of us here in this fellowship. We are the ones that are responsible to care for children and for the vulnerable ones in our midst. Even church is a place where we need to be watching, because church is so often a place where kids are present, and it also attracts the interest of those who wish to prey on children. Jesus places children in our midst, and he says you can't get into the kingdom of heaven if you don't welcome them and protect them and learn from them. You've heard it said that the best definition of the character of a community is how well they take care of their most vulnerable members. That's very true. So maybe that's why Scripture has this promise, "A child shall lead us." Because as that study showed, children point us to our better selves. They point us to a goodness and a purity that we want to nurture and protect. Our sacred task as a church is to treasure and to protect all the precious lives that God has placed here to be with us. We all need to take care of each other. And we have a wonderful and loving fellowship, and sometimes we forget that there are people even in our midst who have suffered abuse in the past. And we need to, in all the times we're having a great time in fellowship, we need to keep in mind that some people are suffering quietly. So let's keep our eyes open. Because Jesus says that as we welcome and treasure and care for these vulnerable ones, we're welcoming Jesus himself. Jesus himself is in our midst. Thanks be to God. Amen.